this is your exact system to blowing up your social media in 2026 with qualified leads, followers, and buyers that actually want to work with you. In this video, I'm going to hold nothing back and I'm going to show you the entire behind the scenes curtain of how to attract clients and how to magnetize them into turning into higher paying clients. So let me share my screen and talk you through it. So as you can see here, we have the magnetic leader content system because there's a few very core big fundamentals when it comes to social media and when it comes to clients as well. It's quite easy to do to do something stupid on social media and get a lot of likes, followers, comments, engagement. But if that isn't going to magnetize people to want to work with you, it's kind of pointless. And if anything, it could be more destructive than do you good. For example, if I wanted to get a load of views, I could probably just go and do something very stupid. I could do like the supermarket pranks, or I could have some old woman slap me on the street and I could just film it. Probably get millions of views or at least hundreds of thousands of views. It's going to get likes, it's going to get comments, but it's not going to get followers. This is the same for a lot of coaches and content creators as well. Like just creating content just for the sheer purpose of getting likes, comments, engagement is absolutely pointless. It's also pointless to create really good, really helpful, really valuable content, but if no one is going to know about it, no one's going to watch it, if no one's going to find it, it's also pointless. So we need to sit somewhere in the middle and get content that gets people to see us, but also see us in a good way and in a professional way to actually want to work with us. And I'm going to show you how to do both and how to balance this in this video today. So let's not hold anything back and let's dive into it. The very first thing we want to do when it comes to being the magnetic character in our content to magnetize people coming through is to have one very big idea and one core thing that people will know us for and know you that you do, right? It's easier for people to remember big ideas than it is to remember you, right, initially, because you have so many nuances, you have so many different facets to who you are, how you think, what you do. If you just first start off by having one big idea that you help people with, and you have that big idea and that's the whole core thing you do, actually acquiring clients in the back end becomes infinitely easier. So I'd start off with mapping out one big idea that you really help people with. For example, I have a client at the moment I'm working with who has an ad agency. He was really struggling before we started working together with kind of being that unique, uh, distinct offer that people would want to work with him for. We sat down on the very first call and we mapped out exactly what his big idea is, what would be his unique mechanism, and how he kind of portray that. So his offer went from like an ad agency to I'll help you run ads with a way that you can really grow your personal brand and actually get people to buy into you and stand out against the bigger competitors. So his big idea was like his big thing, his big frustration he had in the marketplace when he was running ads for his clients is that he had so many people like struggling with ads because they were just running them like the boring way of running ads. Uh they were just kind of sharing like random stuff or like single pictures without the owner's face of the business. And the way he wants to do things, the way he does it with his clients is by building out their personal brand, because when he builds their personal brand, people inquire and people actually like the ads are more profitable. So his whole thing went from an ad agency to the personal brand ad agency. People can then remember him as the guy that does this one ad agency system. There's no one else in the world that's going to do ads exactly like this. It makes you very unique. This is going to be exactly the same in any industry. If you think about fitness, it could be I help you achieve your end goal without going to the gym, just from training at home for 2 sessions a week, as an example. People remember your core idea before they remember you, right? If you think about this in any format, this works, right? So it could be I'll help you lose weight without going to the gym with just 4 hours a week of work, as an example. People remember the idea before they remember you. So what's the one thing that is your idea that's going to make you very unique and undistinguishable from everyone else? If you have that, your social media is going to blow up way more. That's the very first thing we need. The second thing is we need to make this idea very believable. The way we make the idea believable is by having core mechanics in your content and core kind of steps and pillars. If your whole shtick and your whole idea is helping people lose weight with 4 hours of like effort a week, what are the core mechanics? What are the steps you take people on to do that? So it might be, I help people lose weight in 4 hours a week. They need to do 3 things. They need to get their steps right, they need to get their nutrition right, and their mindset. There's 3 core mechanics that we're going to help you with, and that's going to make the idea more believable. So you might have this big idea of, I help you run profitable ads, I help you with losing weight in a certain time frame, I help you to build muscle, I help you to transform your physique in this time frame doing this method. But what are small steps that people have to do under that to achieve the end result? If you kind of then go deeper with the core mechanics of that, your content becomes infinitely easier and easier for people to actually believe as to how you do it, right? That's the next big thing you want to do. If I show you exactly what I mean by that, is if we have an idea of like, this is my idea, this is what I believe, this is my idea here. And then after the idea, you want to have like 3 steps, generally speaking. So step 1, step 2, step 3 of doing that. So your steps very much have to fall aligned to the big idea. So this is my big idea. My idea is that mums can lose weight with just 4 hours of work, 4 hours of work per week. This is my idea here. Name, insert. To do that idea, here's what we need to do. We need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do this. This might be steps, it might be exercise, it might be mindset. I don't know. You would know your mechanics better than I would, right? This is all your content then becomes. Your content then has to become solely focused on this thing. All you're doing is pre-selling people on the idea and then the believable parts behind it to actually achieve the end result. If you do that, you make way more sales on the back end. The last thing we want to do is finish up on this, and that's your actual 7-day content plan and your lead gen process behind it. We want to be able to tell consistent stories to actually how you do that with clients. How are you going to get people to install these different systems, parts, and steps to achieve the end result? If you talk about that consistently, it becomes much easier to actually acquire clients, much easier to make sales, much easier to get leads. All of that part becomes infinitely easier, right? So many people struggle with content because they're looking at every John, Dick, and Harry out there and trying to copy what they're doing to actually get clients. You don't need to do that. Like, scrap all of that stuff out, right? Just tell stories about your idea. Tell stories about how one of your clients used this big idea to achieve the end result. If you don't have many clients yet, tell stories about how someone else in the news is doing that story, is using this big idea that you have, or is using one of the steps to achieve the end result, or how you used it as a previous person that struggled. You use that system, you use that idea to achieve the end result. If you do that, it becomes infinitely more believable. People a lot of the time will just try and give information to get their point across, but information is boring, it's bland, and there's no emotion attached. If you use stories and you tell stories about the struggle, if you tell stories about where people want to go, what they've had to do to overcome it, stories become infinitely more believable, but also infinitely more engaging and actually infinitely more relevant for people. So if we do that, your engagement, your sales, your traffic, everything becomes so much easier when it comes to blowing up on social media and acquiring more clients. If you simply steal this entire magnetic leader content system from today's video, you make way more sales and you blow up your Instagram with more qualified leads, buyers, and followers. And if you want more one-to-one help with building, growing, and scaling your social media and your coaching business in 2026, you can apply to work with me and Client Acquisition Systems with the link in the bio, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.